And now we are live. This evening before the meeting, the first item of business is going to be a public hearing on the related to the second reading of Ordinance 309, an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of Elkins, West Virginia, renewing franchise agreement with Sequel 3 Communications, LLC. That item will appear on your agenda once the meeting proceeds. Right now, we'll gavel the public hearing into session. Is there anyone here to speak? Hearing none, the public hearing for the Optimum franchise renewal is closed. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
July 20 meeting of the Elkins Common Council is now called to order. I'll call the roll. Councilor Bross-Fregonera.
Here.
Carroll is absent. Councilor Chenoweth.
Here.
Councilor Hinchman.
Here.
Councilor Kearns.
Here.
Councilor Lowther. Absent. Councilor Parker will be absent tonight. Councilor Pliszka.
Here.
Councilor Severino.
Here.
Councilor Thompson.
Here.
And with 7 present, we have a quorum. Is there anyone here for public comment tonight? Please approach the podium, state your name and address, and the topic on which you would like to address council.
Joshua Beauvais, 167 Guy Street, and I'm here to once again reiterate my call for a city ordinance that I spoke about last time.
Which is about what?
The prohibition of sexually explicit performances in front of children.
All right, as that topic is not on the agenda, is there any objection to allowing Mr. Beauvais to speak?
I object.
Yes.
Hearing objection, I'll read from City Code. If a citizen or taxpayer of the city requests to be heard, either in person or by council upon any matter which is not introduced or pending before the Common Council, said citizen or taxpayer of the city may be permitted to address council upon unanimous consent of the council. Is there a motion to allow this comment to proceed?
I motion it.
Moved by Pliszka. Any comments or discussion on the motion on the floor, whether or not to allow this comment to proceed? These would be procedural comments.
I object. I think we've indulged him twice, and I would object to him again proceeding in a matter that's not on the agenda.
All right. Any other comment or discussion? Once again, this must be by unanimous consent. All in favor of allowing Mr. Beauvais to speak, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Yes.
Failing to achieve unanimous consent, you may not speak.
May I quickly ask how I go about the proper procedures to see about getting an item placed on the agenda?
Why don't you look up on the website, get in touch with me, Sutton Stokes, the city clerk, and I'd be happy to talk to you about it.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else here for public comment? All right. Next item, minutes proposed for the meeting of July 6, 2023. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is that Chenoweth?
Yes.
Any comments or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. In your correspondence and notifications, you'll note that there's a promotion of W. Butcher to the rank of corporal in the Elkins Police Department. The police chief and other officers are otherwise occupied right now with police matter, so presumably the chief will want to do a recognition of that promotion at a later meeting, so we'll just put a pin in that. And now I'll just go around and ask for councilor reports. Councilor Bross-Fregonera.
We had to postpone the municipal properties meeting a week, so it'll be next Tuesday, and it'll be the first one for the entire committee, so the meeting will mostly be an informative one rather than making any decisions, just to find out what's going on and how we can proceed better as a committee. That's it.
Thank you, Councilor Pliszka.
No reports.
Councilor Hinchman.
In respect to finance, we have not had a meeting yet. We'll meet in the first week of the new next month.
Thank you. Councilor Chenoweth.
Personnel Committee, we did not meet this month due to lack of business to take up. Our next meeting is August 10th, and I'll have to go with committee members because we'll need to reschedule that meeting because I won't be available that day.
All right, I just want to make a note of that. Councilor Kearns.
No report.
Councilor Severino.
No report.
And Councilor Thompson.
No report.
All right, staff reports. I guess I forget the order this is usually done in, but there's no police chief, so I'll go to the operations manager. Sit down, Mike. No, just kidding.
I can do that. Chief, do you want to come back up? Good evening. I have a brief report to give this evening. I'd like to update everyone. At the last meeting, I talked about the ongoing stormwater issues throughout the city. With the help of the street supervisor, we've been receiving phone calls, scheduling appointments with the citizens to go actually to their location. They have provided us with some pictures, some videos. We've taken our pictures and videos as well. And it's given us a better idea of where the key areas of concern are, what the causes of the concern are. It's a work in progress. It's going to take some time, but we are focused on addressing each of the issues. And we've got some good response from some of the people that we've went to their locations and talked to. So I think we're moving in the right direction when it comes to stormwater. But again, I have to emphasize it is a work in progress. It's going to take some time. Spoke with DOH regarding the Davis Avenue Bridge. They have an engineering firm selected. They're moving forward in the design phase. They assured me that we, the city, would be invited to all design phase meetings, and we will have our fair share of input when it comes to the design phase of the bridge. And I will make sure that we hold them to that and we work together with them to make sure we're getting what we want. I'll skip forward a little bit here. I usually give this toward the end of my report, but I'll give it now because I have something a little more severe I need to talk about. The code enforcement has issued a citation for high grass. We had 4 previous warnings that are all closed and compliant. We've sent out 2 additional warning letters for trash. We have registered 2 more vacant structures, 2 more warning letters sent for derelict vehicles. 13 rental inspections are complete, and all have been issued certificates of occupancy. 12 bidding permits have been issued, totaling $130,000 worth of improvements within the city. So that's good news that people are investing their money and their time into the city. And 2 citations issued for building without a permit. You will see in your packet tonight Resolution 1678, creating a new position for the sanitation department, sanitation driver / grapple truck operator. I would urge the council to pass this due to the fact this individual comes to us highly qualified with the exact skills we need to fill this position. It's a person who is coming back to this area, and I think would be a great addition to our team and would be a great addition to the sanitation department. One of the things I want to talk to you about tonight is we are really in a dire situation when it comes to staffing and it comes to employees. The street department currently, including our supervisor and assistant supervisor, has 7 employees, 2 of which are looking to find jobs elsewhere. That would take us to 5 employees, including the supervisor and assistant supervisor.
I know it's warm in here this evening. It's nice outside. Winter will be coming. We have 5 guys to plow the streets and keep them salted and clean. It's impossible. I've been talking to the mayor. I've talked to some of the counselors as I've passed them in the building and talked to them. I urge you all to work with me to implement a plan to compensate our employees accordingly, the way they deserve to be compensated, and to retain quality employees. We are a training ground right now. We bring an employee in, we get them trained, a close-by agency offers them more money with equivalent benefits, and they leave. That puts a large strain on our supervisors because they're constantly training people, and as soon as they get them ready to do their job on their own with limited supervision, they're gone. I urge you, we have to do something to take care of our employees. They are our greatest asset by far. Nothing in the city could be accomplished without the employees. Sanitation department. If you all approve this resolution, we will be fully staffed. Doesn't solve the problem. Since January of 2023, we have posted 5 jobs in that position due to high turnover. Again, someone gets trained, and they leave for a better paying job. We need to look at these departments and make sure we get quality applicants. You attract quality applicants by pay and benefits, and we retain them. It will just make the team work better. Again, I urge you all to work with me on this. I'm working with Sutton, the administrative officers are all working on trying to figure out a different way to do the step and grade scale. And I think we really need to focus on this. Again, our greatest asset are those employees. And if we don't take care of them, we could be left in a dire situation. So that's all I have to report this evening. If anybody has questions of me, I'll be glad to answer them at this time.
So does this require that the personnel committee look at that step schedule, and is that the proper channel?
Correct.
Okay.
It did not go to personnel, it did not go to finance, because it was an urgent situation to make sure we made this gentleman an offer to get him on board.
Right, I was talking about your
About
request
staffing
that
issues?
yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I think it's something that, I think what I would like to see happen is a joint session of personnel and finance together. And I think that way we're not asking the same
Right.
questions to 2 different committees.
Right.
And we can all collectively put our heads together and see what we can do and how quickly we can do it. I don't want to look at employees and say, we'll take care of you next year. They've heard that a long time. And I think it's time we look at them and say, keep up the good work. Here's how we're rewarding you. So, yeah, I think, Counselor, I think the best avenue of approach would be a joint session meeting between personnel and finance at some point. If we can accommodate it, make it happen.
And I think we have one of those scheduled or to be scheduled in the month of September or August with respect to employee benefits. And discussing
Maybe it's something
that.
we can add to it, Counselor. Yeah, absolutely. So if anybody else has any other questions regarding the resolution or anything else, I'd be glad to answer at this time. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Just to return in the order to Chief Bennett. Chief, we did pass by the earlier item about the promotion of Corporal Butcher. Would you want to give your report and then maybe recognize him at that time right now? Or? Okay.
Good evening. Sorry we were late. We had a little incident that we had to take care of there. We'll have a very brief report tonight. On Monday, the 24th, we'll be assisting 22nd Century Technology with active shooter training. Our annual 1033 inventory for government surplus has been completed and certified. Our equitable sharing agreement with the Department of Justice has been completed and is in compliance. That's what we use to seize funds from federal cases. And every day this week, EPD is sending 2 officers to Buchanan for the WAMSB. That's my report unless anybody has any questions. Formal first class closure proposed.
And I didn't restate, but that was the promotion of William Butcher to corporal in the Elkins Police Department.
Are we going to do a family photo?
If you'd like to do photos, we can, why don't we, you want to come up? Come up. We can do a photo.
I want to know what the police chief said.
You'll have to sign up. Now we'll have the treasurer's report.
All right, good evening, everyone. In your packet, you have, in the treasurer's report, you have the general fund statement, the June revenues. Also, I have kind of changed up the bank account balances, basically for the new counselors, so they can see what encompasses each of those bank accounts. And then you have the June budget control for all the different funds. And then finally, you have the annual police and fire pensions report that is required to be put in front of council at this point in time in July. So that is just, does not need an approval or anything, it's just to make sure you all have seen that. Resolution 1679 this evening is authorizing the lease with Heart Solutions. That would be for my office. It's replacing the current copier and another printer that we have in utility billing. Utility billings printer right now has 204,000 copies on it. It has definitely seen its life. With this new lease agreement, we will have a savings of close to 4% on that. So I ask that you approve that lease. And then on Resolution 1680, it's the general fund balance budget revision required by the State Auditor's Office by July 30th. And I ask for approval of that. I also was notified earlier this week that we'll be receiving our deposit municipal sales tax within the next week of $340,178.03. That's about $27,000 less than the average quarter last year. So hopefully that's not a trend going forward. And I believe that's all I have. Anybody have any questions for me? All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Judy. Chief Himes.
I'll be pretty brief this evening as well. Year-to-date call volume as of
This afternoon, 352 calls. That's about 5% up from last year. Typically, I try to pull some other statistics about halfway through the year. So far this year, our property saved statistics are showing about 84% of all pre-incident values are falling under property saved. 6% of the total call volume is about our mutual aid calls where we're going to assist other fire departments. So guys are staying busy. We're also going to be at 22nd Century Technologies on Monday providing fire extinguisher, first aid, and CPR training to the staff there. And finished up pump tests as I reported at the last meeting. We had a couple that had to finish the next day. All vehicles have received their annual service. So we always try to cross that box early in the year. The only thing we'll have left to do will be certification of the aerial, which will come in November. And that's all I have, in case anybody has any questions. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Chief. I guess that would cue up the clerk's report. I don't really have much prepared tonight. We are looking ahead. This is our last meeting in July. I and the mayor and I think several of the admin officers are planning to go to Municipal League in the early part of August. And we'll talk about that first meeting in August further down the agenda. But we're looking ahead to August as being when the new HR person will start. We are right now in the middle of some more interviews for the communications position. So hopefully we'll have some success there shortly. That's about all I can think to report on at the moment. So we can just move down to approval of vendor invoice payments.
I move we pay the AP.
Moved. Is there any questions or discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
May I, Ms. Himes had a report for the admin officer.
Oh. Chief Wastewater Operator Whitney Himes.
Sorry, I was too quiet back there, so I didn't hear you.
Got to shout and wave.
Well, for those who don't know me, I'm Whitney Himes. I'm the chief operator at the wastewater plant. And if you want to talk about wastewater, just head down on Riverbend Road, and I'm more than happy to give you all a tour, or I'll talk about wastewater any day. So, but you guys have probably experienced a little bit of an inconvenience on Randolph Avenue this week. Today it's over. We got it cleared. What happened was about 3 years ago, we had some issues with foam being injected for road stabilization. It got into our sewer line, and this is what we pulled out. This is just a small chunk of it. Just a hard styrofoam. It mixed with gravel, turned into concrete, and it blocked a 12-inch line all the way about 450 feet across that section. Went into the storm drain, had some issues with some taps not draining properly, backing up into basements. But today, we got it all cleared. It's completely out. We cambered it 4 times just to make sure up by Lynn Service Station and on down, we have no issue now. So thank goodness. So hopefully that'll stay that way. But I do want to thank the street department. With his short staff, he sent 2 employees to come help me do traffic control, and with their help, it turned out very successful. So thank you, Sean, and thank you, Mike, for allowing me to do that. But that's all I have. Is there any questions? Thank you.
Yeah, I would just add, those of us that have been here throughout that entire ordeal, that's a big deal. I mean, that sewer line got filled with this eventually concrete-like substance. It created huge problems for some of the residences along there. And so it must be a huge relief to get that finally taken care of. Required interagency negotiations and cooperation, and definitely a big win. All right, on to new business. First item, Ordinance 309, an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of Elkins, West Virginia, renewing franchise agreement with Sequel 3 Communications LLC, doing business as Optimum, and it is presented here on its final reading. Is there a motion?
Your Honor, I would like to go into executive session with the attorney.
Motion to enter executive session under the attorney-client privilege exemption.
Correct.
Is there any questions or discussions about that motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And this will be with the city attorney, Optimum's counsel. Anyone else?
The counsel and yourself, sir.
All right.